Well, here's a discussion that I've been looking forward to having for a long time. Uh, we are Human Consciousness Support. We're a company of well-intentioned do-gooders that believe that a group of the highest level, highest consciousness human beings had to come together, create some solutions to some big problems in the world. And we're only a company that's about a year old. We got a lot of unique analysis and actually provable evidence and facts to back up a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about. But one of our first shows that we ever did at Human Consciousness Support is with one of the more controversial people around the world, which is Santos Bonacci. And he is a gentleman that is fearless and incorruptible. You're not going to buy him off with money or anything else that you could shake in front of him. And he got to experience MasterPeace product. He was outspoken about his testimony about a year ago. He is down in the Mexico area, and down there, it is very hard to get things shipped there. So when he ran out of MasterPeace, I can't remember how many times we had to try to reship him stuff, but it took a while. So he had to actually not have MasterPeace and then get back on MasterPeace. So I guess before we get into some real unique medical studies where we're going to talk about how we're taking people's blood levels, urine, and hair, testing it for all the heavy metals, not just a few, and 27 of the most common forever chemicals, including things like the graphene oxide and hydrogel, which are the two components in the mRNA transhumanism biosystem that is in every person, that they are trying to get the levels high enough so that they can take over the host. So we're testing for those kind of things. But I really wanted a chance to hear from Santos, which he has a loyal following of people that know he speaks his mind. He speaks on how he feels and his experiences, and see like what happened when you noticed that you were when you were out of MasterPeace for a certain amount of time, which means obviously in our polluted world, every breath, most of the food we eat, unless you're really working hard to eat healthy, but everything that you're ingesting and taking in is polluted, contaminated with biohazardous toxins, forever chemicals, things like that. You had to actually go without it for a little while. I know you've had some health issues you're outspoken about in terms of severe DDT poisoning and whatnot. And so when you were off MasterPeace, what kind of came back on as the levels of forever chemicals and pollution were creeping in? And then when you got back on MasterPeace, what did you notice? And then we'll kind of start from there, because I definitely wanted to capture that point.
Yeah, so the postal problem was the second batch you sent, for some reason, they sent it back, right? And or it got stuck in customs. And then I think you tried a third time, but the fourth time I got my batch. So I think this is my third bottle now, and I've got another 4 in my drawer. So yeah, look, there's a marked difference when it comes to like clearing your spiritual field. Like I do this first thing in the morning. I don't know about when should you do it? I do it first thing in the morning.
You should take a couple drops every time you think about it. It's better to take less more often than like just once or twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it should be your best friend in your pocket. Every time you think of it, 1 or 2 drops.
Gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So. So what kind of things do you feel like lifting away, or things getting better and improving once you got back on it? How long did it take, or was it kind of immediate? I know you're sensitive, but what did you kind of notice?
More clarity, just more clarity and more groundedness and strength. Like I can tell by how well I climb up the hill every day when I go down to feed the horses at 5 o'clock. And so every day I go down feed the horses, and then it's a big walk up the ramp, right? So I usually like to do it all in one hit. I don't stop. And some days I really struggle to get to the top, and other days I get up and it's a breeze. I'm not even, and then within minutes I'm relaxed.
What do you think the difference, if you had to try to put a percentage of it, what's the difference of how easy it is to do that, get up the hill after feeding the horses on or off MasterPeace? How much does it improve being on MasterPeace, you think?
Oh, look, it's helped me to become stronger. I'm a stronger man. I'm healthier, you know.
It's awesome.
Apart from my eyesight, there's nothing that that I have, you know. I don't get headaches. My knees, I ram up that hill every day, and my knees don't go creak and clonk.
Oh,
Nothing,
wow.
no tendon problems. I do it on my toes. Every day I climb up that, and I run, on that road jogging, but I don't jog with my heels. I jog with my toes on those stones, on that stone road that goes to the hotel. So part of going down to feed the horses, I take sometimes, if I've got energy, I'll do a jog and it'll be on my toes. My toes, you know the expression to be on your toes?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's what it means. These people who do their jogging, pounding their heels with Adidas spine destroying shoes on concrete. Oh my.
Yeah.
If you're doing any walking or jogging and you got shoes on, well, you're not grounded. I
No,
do.
you're adding inflammation to your body. You're adding stress to your body. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So look, this helps in every way. This is essential. This is one of my go-to. That's why I got pretty passionate when I reminded you that I still haven't received my product, brother. And I reached out to Matt, and I reached out to Paul. I think Paul was the one who fixed it, right?
I'm not sure. I think we just had to keep on sending you packages and wait for one of them to make it through because Mexico is just the one country, them in South Africa. It's ridiculous. You almost have to have a real good courier service that can get it to you, you know.
Hey,
So
hey, how do you think this can help my eyesight? Can I use it as drops?
I would use it in your eyes, drop at a time. I'm not saying it's going to, vision going bad has a lot to do with the shape of your eyes and different things that, it's hard to imagine anything healing per se. There's plenty of people's claims and testimonials, plenty of them where they are claiming they're having improved eyesight. My 19-year-old son is even one of those many people, but um, it's definitely going to help the health of your eyes. Your eyes are going to see a lot better if they don't have toxins in the fluid surrounding them. So,
Yeah.
it's a,
So are you suggesting a direct drop in the eye or
oh yeah,
dilate? Oh yeah, direct.
no, I would put a direct drop, one in each eye. Oh yeah,
Yep.
you'll love it.
Yeah, well,
So,
look, yeah, look, I'm an exception because I do at least 12 hours a day in front of the screen, and to see clearly, I've got to do this. So that is blurry now. Well,
okay.
I've got to go and get prescription glasses, I think.
Well, I think that MasterPeace and Human Consciousness Support owe you a big thank you, because you were one of the first truthers, people that stand for the truth the best they understand it, and are loud about it, that came forward discussing openly and about MasterPeace and what it had done for you. And because of that, we made some very important relationships, Paul being one of them, and several others. And it really kind of started springboarding with what's a pretty big movement now. We're only a year old. We have over 50,000 families on MasterPeace out of over 70 countries. And you were definitely one of our, still to this day, more controversial people, but one of the very first that stood up and said, hey, I think this is something that's worthy of looking at and people trying. And we just want to tell you thank you, seriously. I've thought about that 1,000 times before I just said that. Um, so I'm happy you got all your bottles. What we're doing is MasterPeace and Human Consciousness Support is not the kind of company that wants to waste money on marketing. We want to put the people. We wanted a product that was affordable for everybody, right? If it's for mankind, it can't be something that only millionaires can afford. So we had to have something that was affordable, that was easy, non-invasive, simple to use and take, that if you missed a dose, you can still wait a couple hours and take it, get right back caught up, and do all those things. But what we've now done is gone real deep into putting together a perfect, ironclad, irrefutable, undeniable, unquestionable medical study that is done by Dr. Robert O. Young, mentoring and guiding the whole process, and naturopath Carolyn Mansfield, with abstracts, methodology, and a professional chart graph maker who has done it for many. And we're going to put together where we can show people how MasterPeace will support this truth. And this is a big truth that everybody in your audience will be doing better to hear, and anybody that will ever hear this recording. What creation, God, the maker of this earth, whatever the cosmos is or isn't, the ecosystem, the environment, the natural harmonious system, that creator made everything balanced, working right. It doesn't need intervention by man thinking they're going to do man playing God techniques. And everything works good in that state. Now, after the Industrial Revolution and a bunch of harmful thinking by evil people, we obviously have not just an onslaught of purposeful toxins, such as the graphene oxide, which is obviously deliberate when we're seeing graphene self-replicating computer systems in people, but we're also seeing the results of all the environmental pollutants that have been put into our environment, and which get into every single living creature, including every single living person. And we've seen the effects. And so we definitely needed a broad spectrum solution. The study that we have, we've now had a total of 27 people, and this is important, everybody. Whether you've gotten the COVID vaccination or not, whether you live in this country or that country, boy, girl, young or old, we all, for every single last harmful forever chemicals, things like glyphosate, things like fluoride, things like microplastics, BPAs, neurotoxins that don't belong anywhere in our world. Everything we've tested for is showing up in levels in every single person we've tested. There has not been one person that we tested for things that didn't have some type of levels of these harmful biohazardous toxins that disrupt the normal functioning of anything alive. And so your creator, if we could clean out the body, and here's the point I wanted to make. If we clean out the body of these harmful, unmanageable, biohazardous pollutants, forever chemicals, heavy metals, all of it, then your body can heal itself. It can do its normal functioning. It can thrive as much as it can be. It obviously doesn't mean that your health and dietary habits at that point will affect the level of health you'll have, but you won't be dimmed down anymore. You won't just be a controlled monkey like 99% of the people out there that don't have enough energy to even question anything. They're already plagued with distractions and workloads and bills and all this other crap, health issues in their family, all the things that are happening from this mass poisoning that's happened. And what the MasterPeace does safely, effectively, gently, affordably is get those levels down so we can all stand up and start dealing with the truth that there is people out in the open where I was not so much of a conspiracy theorist. I'm a very logical reasoner. But in every single live blood analysis that's done in the world with cheap crap microscopes that aren't even that good, that go down to like regular dark field microscopy and microscopes, every single person that's being looked at with their blood, there's no such thing anymore as a person that doesn't have this graphene, self-replicating, self-assembling biosystem inside of them. Whether you've been jabbed or not, you're breathing it in the air, and they have a plan. For decades, they've spent trillions of dollars to get ready for this plan. They're very brazen about this plan. They're implementing this plan, and this plan doesn't work without their keystone tool and crux, which is their graphene oxide. See that thing with the electromagnetic waves inside of you, making it paramagnetic and move and become what it needs to become? If you get the graphene levels down, it throws off that entire plan. MasterPeace, Santos, since last time me and you talked, the FDA has seized $70,000 of our sea plasma, calling it a drug. The healthiest part of the ocean, the FDA called a drug, and then took our shipment and probably pushed it off into the ocean. Never mind you, where it came from. Never mind you where they've been bringing it in for 20 years to Dr. Tom Cowan and everybody else without a problem. But as soon as someone comes along, a company, a group of people with proof and evidence of how good this thing works, they go to shut it down. It's not just them. We've had Health Canada come and shut us down. Health Canada is like the FDA in the United States, but they're in Canada, obviously. So we have customs in countless countries I get stuff from. So we've had smear campaigns which had outright outrageous, nonsensical, illogical lies embedded in it, not a lick of truth, that has come after us from different angles. And that's because MasterPeace is what it is. It is the antidote and the solution to the pollution. And it works individually. Anybody that takes it notices a better sleep, a more calmness. It definitely brings on a calmness, a higher emotional state of being, more tolerance. You'll hear all these old guys that have road rage talking about how they react to traffic and different things differently, and their spouses and partners and everything else. It makes you affect your community and loved ones and everything in your environment in a better and more positive way. And that's a very organic way to help improve our world, because all of us, whether we understand the science of it or not, you are a part of the most lucrative resource that will ever be here on the planet, the human mind, the human consciousness. Whoever controls the human consciousness controls it all, because everything else can be done from that. So to take back full control of your mind, to avoid being able to be programmed physically, mechanically, forcibly, is a very powerful move that our whole species needs to make in the right direction. So people understanding what MasterPeace is, being a part of it, trying it out where it has no side effects. You're talking about two very natural ingredients that are the cleanest part of the ocean water and a mineral that comes from the earth when it wants to detoxify itself. And we put them two together. You have natural clinoptilolite, zeolite, natural. They do have man-made junk out there. It's not good. That's a whole different story. They've tried to tie the two together into MasterPeace to try to defame MasterPeace and take it away from, its destiny. But we have two of the most cleanest ingredients in MasterPeace that together make all the world of difference in reducing the levels of crap that your body doesn't do as good with it in there, and leaving it with the most bioavailable, nutrient-rich substance on earth, which is structured sea plasma. And so, Santos, Paul by himself there's been so many people that came aboard that originally seen your broadcast, and you springboarded your show, what has become a movement of I think, a migration of the best, the least apathetic humans that are the savviest at seeing the truth. And your show was the show that totally got us some feet underneath us so that we could start to grow and exponentially become what we're trying to accomplish here, our mission, which is depoison people so that they can think again and become critical thinkers. And so you get that. You definitely get that that credit. So
Yeah, look, I feel blessed because I've always said that, as the great philosopher Marsilio Ficino said in the Renaissance, he said, by divine providence, certain books have fallen into my lap. And if I didn't read certain books and I didn't come across certain books along my path to syncretism, I wouldn't have got syncretism. And MasterPeace is one of those things in your life that fall in your lap, like out of left. It just, someone gets introduced to it, and then by word of mouth it gets around, and I've got so many great products in my life. I mean, I treasure this one, and I know how important structured seawater is. What are the other ingredients? What are the other things that are in this then?
So there's only one other ingredient besides structured sea plasma, and that is another mineral that is when lava touches the ocean water. And then what the lava becomes in the ocean water is what they call zeolite. And clinoptilolite, there's different versions of zeolite, but clinoptilolite is definitely, for many reasons, long discussion, the best for removing toxins out of the human body. So you want to find the cleanest clinoptilolite that you can. And we definitely spend 10 times more than anybody else has ever even priced us for clinoptilolite. We spend the most because we have the very, very best, but that's the only other ingredient outside of structured marine plasma. So you have the cleanest part of the ocean where the sea turtles live to 300 years old. They migrate to this place every year. So the sea turtles that live 300 years migrate to where we collect our sea plasma. The only other thing inside of there is a mineral found in the ocean that used to be lava that enters the ocean. It's that natural. There's nothing else in there.
And that's what's so great about it, is its simplicity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
yes.
I love how it under a microscope, how it basically glows. It's like starlight.
Yeah. So it's enlivened, it's structured, it's charged, it's given, it has a lot of intention. Our intention, they've had hundreds of studies that show how our intentions and thoughts affect the water, obviously, Bigelson and his holographic stuff lately. Yeah. And it's just the best of humanity's thinking and the best of Mother Nature's solutions all wrapped up in the one. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. For me personally, I feel like it's helping to structure the crystalline body along with all the other things, but that's like something really important I'm focusing on.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're totally right. And I'll tell you, the structuring device that we use in the biophoton infuser, they are natural ones. There's different types of structuring devices that will structure water. Some are more natural in how they work and not, but the one that we use, the entire process was done only for what's going to make a better outcome. What's going to be the highest good for all of humanity, knowing that the rest of the world will be fine after we get the highest good for humanity solved. And it was built that way from the very beginning to where it is now. And every single person involved in this thing hasn't changed up a bit. Not one of them. Not one person has gotten greedy, money, kicked out the door, caused problems, grief. Everybody that has come apart, have been a part of this team, and you guys are all a part of our team. And don't ever think you can get away from that. So, it takes every single last one of us for us to actually create the change. We have to all know that. So, but yeah, it's a definitely as natural as anything can be, which is so weird because when they put their smear campaign together against MasterPeace, it was all like claiming like it helps nanotech, and I'm like, that would only work unless someone starts researching anything about MasterPeace, right? Because if they, and I think that's what they do. They want to tell you something crazy so that you just believe the headline and don't look further, right? Whatever they can get you to do, to don't look further, because if you do a little bit of research and it's like, hold on, this ain't adding up. So absolutely. What else, you guys? I can tell you the study that we're doing, compared to the study we did 7 or 8 months ago, people's baseline or beginning levels before taking MasterPeace was about 30% higher in all the toxins that we tested for as the original levels, which was, off. So scary to be honest with you. And that means the environment's getting so saturated, or they're dumping more and more on us, however it's coming along, that all the different things that we're testing for, the polyethylene, the PFOs, the PFOAs, everything has gone up in people. So, it's getting worse significantly faster. So taking MasterPeace daily until we can get to the point where our environment and what we're taking in, right now we're all fishes in a fishbowl, right? And the fish water and everything we're ingesting is really bad. So you got to take a detoxifier and keep your body clean until we can get the rest of this stuff cleaned up. So
right, yeah, we can do all the other things, eat, like you said, pretty decent, but we're still breathing in, like there's nothing we can do about that unless we're like wearing a
totally totally. And people that are insanely healthy lifestyle, eating just raw vegetables, raw fruits mainly, they're like 45. We had one person on the study, their levels weren't the lowest levels out of everybody there. So it's literally like the transfecting that's happening is coming from the air, it's coming from the food, it's coming from every way that they can do it. Obviously, we know what their evil looks like. Their evil has no bounds. Their evil has no lack of ambition, right? We know that. And so no matter where you're at and you think you're not eating this certain thing at the market so that you're healthier than the next person, but we all have a huge amount of these levels in our body, and they don't want us to know about it, and certainly don't want us to create a solution, so.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you have another product as well, Zeolite powder, which is micronized, not nano, for the more bulk stuff in your intestines, mixed with fulvic, probably mostly humic, which draws like, last I heard was 60 times its weight in toxins, but you have that as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the Master Restore product. The size of that clinoptilolite, which is identical, it's the same clinoptilolite we use in MasterPeace, but it's 85% of the particle range will bypass the gut. So it's not just an intestinal cleanse. It does definitely do that. But it has a very high pH on it. Fulvic acid obviously is a very healthy land source for nutrition and so many different ways. It would take 2 shows to do that with, but absolutely, we want to be able to give the intercellular or outside the cell detox, which is what Master Restore takes care of, alongside what the MasterPeace does, which is more of an inside the cell or intracellular detox. One's a nano and one's a micrometer, right? Nano technology, nano this, nano that. That just is a terminology meaning stuff in the nanometer size. And once it gets underneath a 100 nanometer size, it becomes, with the right electrical magnetic charge, able to go in and out of a cell because it's so small. Now, when we're talking about Master Restore, it is small enough to get everywhere in the body, just not small enough to get inside of a cell. Yeah. So
good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good 1-2 punch. So, and those are the only products that we carry. We're big believers in nature. We're big believers in your body being comprised of 99% water molecules. The other 1%, most of that is minerals. So when people think they need all these vitamins, and we're actually kind of programmed and conditioned to believe we have to supplement our way to some natural perfect health. And I know there's some of that to a degree that probably has a lot of validity, but really, if you get the crap out of your body that doesn't belong, your body actually performs really good by itself. You don't have to, you can just kind of eat and drink, and it does pretty darn good, you know? And we're a big believer in getting that stuff out as gently and affordably as possible so that your natural body can shine. Yeah. That's our kind of methodology.
I love that. So your body can shine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what it does best, which is take care of you and give you something comfortable to live in. You know, instead of your consciousness being stuck in something where you can't think, you don't have any energy, things bother you that would never bother you if you had more vitality. And it's not you. You're not sick. You've been poisoned. You've been poisoned by electromagnetic frequencies, and you've been chemically poisoned. Best believe you're the most brilliant, very provable, very easy to prove. But the easiest point I could prove in a debate is that your body is the most amazing piece of technology that anybody can point at that we know of in whatever we want to call our universe. Your body, the way it adapts, changes. Look at all the electromagnetic and natural shit they've been berating us with for over a century, right? Every time they amp up the waves, some of us die, and then the rest of us adapt and improve. And then they got to turn it up, and they turn up the radio and the microwave, and this, the 4G, 3G, 5G, da-da-da-da-da. And some of us die at first, but then we all adapt and make it. We're the most adaptable, amazing things there is. So we just don't want to get to the levels where we can't control it, and the accumulations of toxins overtakes us, right? And we're kind of getting to that tipping point and that cusp, and we don't want to be there. So awesome. And so that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's good. And then also the zeolite, it is negatively charged, so it neutralizes the positively charged toxins, which have like inflammatory, dirty electricity to them.
Yep.
And,
absolutely. Yeah.
And something with this process allows no detox symptoms to happen, because I take a lot of things and I get sick when I detox. But zeolite doesn't do that, and I think that's one of the best advantages to it. It doesn't make you sick.
Yeah, I would, clinoptilolite, all by itself and just water, you take enough of it, you could experience some dehydration, different things that you might think is some type of detox or Herxheimer. But yeah, I would definitely say this clinoptilolite mixed with bioavailable C plasma, which we do call Zeolite Z. We kind of have it, it is trademarked because we don't want someone to come in, do something close just to make it wrong and hurtful, and then lay claim to it, and which would totally distort the power and how MasterPeace, they've done that to a lot of products, right? So we had to trademark it. But yeah, it's a lot gentler when it has a bunch of minerals and all that with it. So it's a long conversation, and it actually ends up teetering into some not well-known facts, such as your body, when it gets introduced enough poisons, which are stronger, positively charged heavy metals and whatnot, your body will try to use those instead of minerals if it only has that to choose from. And then you have a stronger positively charged toxin used, which is like dirty gasoline, being used, and your body starts to get used to that. So when you actually start improving and cleaning up the environment of your body by removing those things, you can, it's very logical to think that you could have some headaches or factors that would come from being deconstipated and your body kind of getting used to operating with the right type of fuel again. But that it gets into a little bit longer of a conversation. I would say by far, MasterPeace easily is showing itself through anecdotal testimonials of people to be the gentlest and easiest when it comes to detox. So yeah, when a lot of products, Nick, would make you feel detoxy, yeah, you're going to notice it a lot less with MasterPeace, even though it's working a lot better. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, nicely said. Yeah, very good. Anyone have any closing? If we got the bulk of the best stuff out, anyone got anything good to finish with?
Well, what about Matt? What about you? Your recent testimonial, you know, how you helped your mother.
Oh yeah, we can, if we'd like to talk about that. I will say a real life miracle. There's no other way to put it. My mother-in-law, she had 2 collapsed lungs. She could not speak. They rushed her into surgery. They said that she was so weak they couldn't give her general anesthesia, so they ended up feeding her with fentanyl and benzos instead, and then doing a procedure where they jam a hose into your lung, and did that at nighttime. She was in such bad shape the next day in the intensive care unit that they were going to do one last surgery procedure, and then they were going to place her on life support, and that was it. A very good close friend of mine, a doctor, would help me and talk to the doctors at the hospital and the nurses, and told me that if we didn't get up there immediately, she was going to die. There was no chances about anything. Her blood was in major sepsis and acidosis. So once a person's blood is giving up, that's the cleanest thing on the body. That's the one thing the body wants to keep clean. So if it can't keep the blood clean, you know it's a wrap. So in terms of lifetime. And we rushed up there, and 99% of what makes up MasterPeace is isotonic, which means the same amount of salt, mineral content. So same isotonic C plasma. And so we took that. Obviously, the doctors and nurses, we didn't know if how are they going to react or anything. But she did put the thing up her butt herself, so that takes away from anybody administering her anything. And pumped it. Someone pumped it full. Pumped her full of isotonic marine plasma, 500 milliliters. Within 15 minutes, for the first time in 4 days, she could begin speaking a little bit. Within 2 hours, we were ready to go. She had passed a bowel movement. She hadn't gone to the bathroom for 3 days. Her every single type of vital you could even imagine had been giving up totally, and all of her stuff started improving. And about after the second and third enema, her body was back online. She was conscious. All of her vitals were doing good. We were forcing them to remove all the medications. They started giving her 15 medications. I sat down, I told them, I said, hold on, we don't understand this logic. You have someone with collapsed lungs, you're giving them fentanyl, they already can't breathe. You're putting them on sedatives, then you're putting them on norepinephrine, which is like a precursor to meth, to make their blood pressure go up. And then you're giving them steroids, which makes the sugar go up, but then you give them insulin to make the sugar go down. You're just throwing all this crap at the wall. So we had them pull all that. And within 2 days of just taking what is isotonic marine plasma, which is 99% of what MasterPeace is, they had her out of ICU. She was standing up on her own. She was clearing her lungs out herself and was back to life, and very combative in the total monster that she is to the medical system. She is quite a feisty one, to put it lightly, and she was already they were already ready to get rid of her. So yeah, it's pretty much firsthand one of the most miraculous things I've ever seen in terms of a turnaround from certain death to being able to kind of get up on her feet. So
Miraculous.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So
And how about how Jupiter and switching to a bit of a syncretism glance at it. Jupiter and Sagittarius rule the mineral silica, and it's the greatest benefic. And Sagittarius rules the muscular system and vision. And you get all these people that get better dreams. The muscles seem stronger, and the product, the zeolite, the calinaptolite, is silica based, right?
Yep. Yes, absolutely.
So
Yes.
we're dealing with Jupiter, the greatest benefic,
The
saving
greatest-
us all.
The greatest beneficial planet.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it, man. This stuff is gold.
I get so used to having to put all my extra time and energy into forethinking the next way that they're going to try to destroy it. That, the guys that I talk to the whole time, that, I don't get time anymore for astrology and different things like that I used to get to enjoy a little bit more. But no, that's amazing. I'm happy that you just told me that. That's, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
then I think in the pineal gland is silica crystals. And when you push the cerebral spinal fluid up to it, it creates colors. And if you take a quartz crystal, which is pure silica, which is Sagittarius stone as well, and you rub them together or hit it with the hammer, it creates light and colors,
right.
like
Yeah.
in the center eye.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You would have to say, no matter what the third eye, however they have it clogged down and all the other stuff and that we can put to it, no matter how exact it is, we know that obviously the thing is working a lot better after people take MasterPeace. However it's working because they're all of a sudden got dream vividness, especially too, like when we talk and we converse and communicate, when I'm looking at you, if my third eye is clear, there's a connection that I have, not necessarily a picture I'm making of you inside of me, but there's a connection that we're naturally supposed to have for each other, where it should never be natural for us to kill one another or anything, especially on some mass level. That terrible programming and conditioning, this warlike that they bring out, which is very unnatural in a human being, they can only do by making you third eye blind. As soon as that third eye is on and connected and stuff like that, what are you going to, short of you attacking my family, what would cause me to want to harm another human being or something like that? Other, it's very unnatural. And so they had to do everything they did, especially with our pineal gland, to be able to force us into being the monsters they'd like to useless eaters they'd like to consider us to be, So, at least in my opinion, that's how I think.
Yeah, it's a very bright compound. Like when you zoom in on the MasterPeace, is glowing bright.
Yes.
And then when you take like a click lighter and you smash it, that's hitting a piece of silica quartz to make that spark on the lighter. So it just has this bright energy, benefic energy about it.
Yeah, it does. It does, and it gets better the more magnifying you actually get on it. So, yeah, Dr. Robert Young has shared that with me. So, it's just it's hard when you're getting down to that magnification. It takes so many hours to even get up one shot. That but he has said that that's what he's witnessed, and yeah, it is neat. It's something that started off with just me and Matt Senna. Obviously we have, who even knows how many thousands of people involved at this point, but its job's not done yet. We got to get this into every single person out there, but it's really a unique effort that we're seeing, like what humanity can do with good intention, with pure intention, and people having the right, like being the change and doing that. And we're seeing what humanity can pull off. It's a huge collaborative effort at this time. There's no way anybody could take some type of big piece of credit. There's too much credit at this point for the change it's making. And, we need very soon, when the study comes out, the people that are in line up to do exclusives with it, it'll be global. and millions of people in no time and billions soon after that. And that's when we'll really see. Let's picture a world full of 4 billion people taking something that makes them critically think again and not so easily controlled and kept from being able to stand up for what's right. You know, let's see what 4 billion of real humans looks like. That's what I want to see the end goal of MasterPeace be. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I want to see what we can get done when we're all actually using, you know, our abilities.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, we already know we're unstoppable, right? So I mean, that's why they didn't cool down their odds. They didn't cut down the odds of us because they were worried about already something that they can manage. They have to dim us down and make us that way, right? Else, so we already know where it's going to lead to. It's going to be the change. It's going to be the shift. It's going to be that. So awesome.
Yeah. Truly
Guys,
a
thank you
crucial
for
role.
coming. Yes, it really is. It's a beautiful thing because we all get to take credit for it because it really is our collective effort, our collective consciousness that spark. You know, it may spark with one person thinking of something, but then how fast everybody pulled onto it and became a part of it. You know, that was the intention behind it and stuff. I'm not, you know, so there was no fancy talk that was going to tell Santos and everybody else that they're experiencing better holistic health from taking MasterPeace. You know, it really so it's a yeah, I love it every day. New testimonials from people I'll never get a chance to meet speaking about amazing changes and upgrades in their health and life, and that's what it's all about for us. So I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming together. I'm really happy. I've thought about so many times wanting to get back together, and I just didn't know. And then so when Santos reached out to Matt, I was like, heck yes. So
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
awesome. Is there anything, Santos, you want to leave us with?
Yeah, so for all the syncretism guys out there, that's been on my product tab on my site, universaltruthschool.com, and Nick and Crystal's is
crystalclearcompass.com, and just go to the products page and you'll see it right there at the top. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for you guys' time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much.
Talk soon.
Yep, talk again.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome.